Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video, and a special thanks to Nazy for the invitation to be with you, even if it's just through the video. I think Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video. Since we're going to be talking about technology, I think this would be a good example. Hello everybody, thank you for watching this video, and a special thanks to Nazy for the kind invitation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Guilherme and I work for Cultura Inglesa in Rio de Janeiro. I understand that the theme of this year's seminar is the use of technology in the classroom. So I suppose watching a video that I myself produced will give you a pretty good idea of the potential of a tool, a technological tool.
In order to use technology with a minimum level of competence, we may have to ask ourselves, why exactly am I using this piece of technology? Another way of saying the same thing is, what are the pedagogical gains behind using this specific tool?
What I'd like to discuss now is a very simple principle which doesn't necessarily come from technology, it comes from education. And the principle is called cumulative learning. It's a very basic principle, I'm sure you all know about it. It basically says that as a teacher, I should be observing what my students are doing. I should be interested in finding out where my students stand in relation to a certain piece of knowledge and where I want them to get to. And basically, by observing them and finding out where they stand, what I will be doing is helping them get to where I want them to go.
Please take a moment to read this definition of cumulative learning.
So I'm going to give you a very simple example. This example comes from one of the projects I was involved in 2009. I know it's a long time, it's been 4 years or more. But the reasons why I'm going to go back to this is because there's a lesson, a simple lesson that maybe we haven't learned yet. So I need to go back to this same principle of cumulative learning. If I see that something is not happening, it's maybe because we haven't learned it yet. So we go back to it. We go back to the basic principles until those principles are mastered. Once they've mastered those principles, we give students a different goal. So the project I'm going to talk about was a video that was produced by students, and the video was explaining how to prepare a barbecue. And the teacher was all excited about it because the students had produced that video and they uploaded the video onto the website. So I watched the video, and the first thing that caught my attention was it was a wonderful video, but there was just absolutely no narration. There were no words. It was just simply background music. So I got to the teacher and said, okay, the video is fine. And what this is telling me is that those students know how to make a video. But as language teachers, I'm worried that maybe we should be giving them some language challenge for that specific technological project. So, what I said to the teacher is, we're going to go step by step. First step is you need to be able to show to your students what already exists in terms of how to make a movie or video. And there are so many examples on the net. So, by watching those videos that had already been produced, what I was hoping to be able to get is an awareness of what a video of that kind contains.
Here's an example of a website where you can find a how-to video.
So that was step number one. Step number two, we're talking about a barbecue. Well, again, if you go to the net, there are a number of places where you can find the recipe of a Brazilian barbecue in English. Because remember, there are lots of churrascarias now all over the world. This is what the global world does to us. So I said, step number 2, they need to be able to learn the language that they need in order to be able to produce a script for how to make a barbecue video. So they looked into this, and what I was hoping they would be doing was learn some of the important vocabulary that they needed to add to the video that already existed.
And here's just a simple web page where the students will be able to learn all the vocabulary that they need in order to be able to produce the script for that specific video.
The final stage would then be to produce the narration for the video that existed, and that was reasonably simple once you got those 2 other steps out of the way. There is something that the students collaboratively would have to decide, which is who's going to narrate this. And again, a lot of language work there. Some of the students would want to read to find out who's got the best voice, who is reading it more properly, etc., how to read it, etc., etc. So that was the final step, and then it would have been very easy for those students who knew the technology, who knew how to use Movie Maker, to put together the narration, which was produced separately, onto the video that already existed. And only then did I consider the project to be ready. So this is part of the message that I want to be able to put across to you at this point. It's absolutely wonderful to work with technology, but it takes effort. It takes a lot of preparation if you want to produce something that is reasonably good. If you just want to produce anything, that's very simple, you can do it in 5 minutes. But I don't think that as teachers, this should be our final goal. My final goal as a teacher would be to try and produce something that was both technologically interesting, but also linguistically sound. Okay, Gisele, so I have these friends in Vitória who will be taking part in a seminar about technology. So I thought you might want to say something about the use of technology, because you're using technology all the time. So what sort of message do you have for these teachers who are interested in finding out about where we are heading?
Okay. First of all, hello everyone. I think the most important message that I think I can give to your friends and to all the teachers who are watching is that we are going somewhere good. I've taken part in the Horizon Report, and this year the 2004 K-12 Horizon Report, and it's echoing a very important shift that we're seeing in education, in educational technology. And what it means is we are looking at people again, not devices. The most important trend for the upcoming years is rethinking the role of teachers. The Horizon Report is the result of conversations, research, articles, and we have a panel of experts. We get together and we discuss the trends in education. We pretty much map out emergent technologies and go in a different way this year, because we usually look at devices and technology per se, but now we're looking back at people. So as I was saying, rethinking the role of teachers. And why is this so important? Because we're looking at teachers as the game changers again. Teachers, the way they engage into their professional development, the way they look at social media as a way of learning, the way they look at technology as a tool to promote learning and teaching. So this is the most important thing. Look at technology. It's okay, no problem to look at technology, but first of all, remember that there are people behind any technology that you choose. So I think this is the most important message that I would have to
And
say.
in terms of, because you're talking about people, in terms of collaboration, which is also a key issue in education in general, do you think that this will also, technology will help in that sense?
Definitely. Again, when we look at the trends, we go from consumers to prosumers. So we are producing content, and when we're producing content, we are producing for people and with people, right? So if you think about the classroom, your students are not only reading books, but they are writing books with their peers and for a specific audience. So I think collaboration, and in my opinion, I like to think of collaboration more than patterns of interaction. It's like making yourself needed and needing the other for things to happen. I think this is what we're going to see. Collaborative work, people thinking about people in order to produce more than consume. So, if you ask me in terms of what you're going to see in classrooms in the near future, we can talk about mobile learning, use of telephones, tablets, then you have iPads, Galaxy, any tablet that you can name. We also see a lot of wearable technology, and wearable technology, not only Google Glass, but things like wearing your own camera. You have GoPro cameras, you can wear your camera and make that experience and take your first person experience and produce that and show that to your group or to your family. So you see that coming into the classrooms.
It just reminded me, because you're talking about your own camera. How does that work in terms of the technology that's going to be provided by the schools, or maybe students bringing their own technology to classroom?
Yeah, I think when you talk about mobile technology and what makes it so different and what makes it so special is the possibility of having students bringing their own devices, and it makes it really personal, because I know what I need to do what I want. So it's a lot about I, but if you turn that into we, it makes a lot of sense in a classroom. So it goes back to the collaboration that you're mentioning.
And does the teacher need to prepare himself or herself very carefully to use this technology?
I think the teacher needs to prepare himself or herself always, like for technology or for the use of paper, or for anything. But when we think of preparation, it's not exactly, I'm going to go back to that, it's not about the device. You have to prepare yourself about the experience. Like looking at the experience as a whole. Not only like, okay, we're going to use telephone, but what will this use mean to my students? What is the experience all about? And especially, do not focus on product, but on the process. Sometimes you have a video that's only 10 seconds long, but before that video, you had 20 minutes of preparation and lots of English being used and lots of the relationship happening. So this system in the classroom is really important.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, my name's Colin, and I'm the head of educational technology here in Rio. And what I basically do is I design products and also systems that try and tap into what's happening with technology and hopefully provide teachers with the best possible products that will help them give great classes. So what I'm really most interested in is looking at a sort of macro view of what's going on in the world of technology and what we should pay attention to, both as teachers and also from my point of view more as, course producers. And I would like to talk about very briefly, four major shifts, if you like, that I see happening, which I think are relevant directly or indirectly to you guys. The first one, I guess, which I think is pretty obvious, is that increasingly what we do in the classroom is more and more technologically enhanced. And that it will be difficult to imagine a course that does not have at least some element of technology in it. And in fact, maybe the design will be whereby that students will study part of the time face-to-face and part of the time at a distance. So I see the tendency more and more is technology to be involved in what we do as teachers, not just in the classroom but also in the actual course design itself. The second one, which is again probably pretty obvious, is that more and more mobile technology will be impacting what we do. So where students learn, whether it be in the classroom, outside, on the bus, more and more that will be on smaller devices, and the learning itself will be in smaller chunks. So that's going to influence both how we design materials but also how students study. The third thing, which is impacting a lot of my particular life at the moment, is the idea of e-publishing. I personally feel that more and more course books, ELT course books, will be migrating towards a digital model, and we're producing our first books now, and what we're seeing is that by using digital technology, it allows us to integrate into the course book media, video, audio. It allows us to be able to track students' marks and students be able to see their progress across the whole book. So it allows you to do some pretty cool things that you wouldn't be able to do without technology. So I think that's a tendency that we'll see going forward as more and more people have tablet computers. And last but not least, what I see as a big movement over the next 5 years is a move to what is being called adaptive learning. And this is really composed of two elements. One element is called learner analytics. Now if you go to Amazon, you're very used to seeing the fact that Amazon knows what books you like, and then it suggests to you probably the thing that you might want next. The same principle applies to learning. So if we know that a student's having difficulty with grammar in a particular area, we can suggest to him something he could do to improve that particular area. So what we're going to see more and more of in education are systems that capture lots of data about students' performance and then automatically or via a teacher suggest strategies to help that student. And that collectively is what's called adaptive learning. So imagine a book in the future that adapts itself to your performance. So if you're great at the present perfect, why do you need loads in the present perfect in the workbook? But you're not very good at the present simple, suddenly you've got lots of activities and videos and whatever on the present simple. So there you are, just very briefly, four areas of technology I think will be important over the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I do hope that this video was somehow useful, and I want to wish you all a wonderful conference. Bye for now.